teachers, the topic of our discussion today is how to teach grammar. Before we start grammar, we should first try to assess the goals and techniques of teaching grammar. Students need overt instructions that connect grammar points with larger communication contexts. Students do not need to master every aspect of each grammar point, only those which are relevant to the immediate communication task. Teach the grammar point in the target language or the student's first language or both. The goal is to facilitate understanding. Limit the time you devote to grammar explanations to 10 minutes, especially for lower level students whose ability to sustain attention can be limited. Present grammar points in written and oral ways to address the needs of students with different learning styles. Instruction. An important part of grammar instruction is providing examples. Teachers need to plan their example carefully around two basic principles. Be sure the examples are accurate and appropriate. They must present the language appropriately, be it culturally appropriate for the setting in which they are used, and be it to the point of the lesson. Use the examples as teaching tools. Focus examples on a particular theme or topic so that students have more contact with specific information and vocabulary. Relevance of grammar instruction. In the communicative competence model, the purpose of learning grammar is to learn the language of which the grammar is a part. Instructors therefore teach grammar forms and structures in relation to meaning and use for the specific communication tasks that students need to complete. Compare the conventional model and the communicative competence model for teaching the English in the past tense. Conventional: grammar for grammar's sake. Teach the regular ED form with its two pronunciation alternatives. Teach the doubling rule for verbs that end in D, that is, for example, wed becomes wedded. Hand out a list of irregular verbs that students must memorize. Do pattern practice drills for ED. Do substitution drills for irregular verbs. Communicative competence. Grammar for communication's sake. Distribute two short narratives about recent experiences or events, each one to half of the class. Teach the regular ED form using words that occur in the text as examples. Teach the pronunciation and doubling rules if those forms occur in the text. Teach the irregular verbs that occur in the text. Students read the narratives, ask questions about points they don't understand. Students work in pairs in which one member has read story A and the other story B. students interview one another. Using the information from the interview, they then write up or orally repeat the story they have not read. Problem 1. Problem of mother tongue. Students have different mother tongues and therefore English grammar may create problems. We can draw a parallel between the grammar of their mother tongue and English grammar. Most students have Hindi as their mother tongue. So, if we introduce Hindi grammar and English grammar, it will become a lot easier for students to understand it. Another problem can be new words and terminology. Also, students will come across many words and terminology. They may find the words difficult to remember. We should try to make them easier by substituting them with easier ones. The steps in presenting points of grammar. Quote everyday examples to bring students closer to the topic. Discuss nouns with number, gender and case that are closely related. Discuss pronouns as a substitute of noun. Encourage the teaching of structures by showing how they are needed in real life communication. Determine the objective of the lesson. Review the familiar items, for example, calendar, time, name of objects, auxiliary words in the target language that will be needed to introduce, explain or practice the new item. Use the new structure, that is adjective of color, for example, in a brief utterance in which all the students know the other words. Model the utterance several times. Engage in full class, half class, group and individual repetition of the utterance. Give several additional sentences in which the structure is used. Class and groups will repeat with you. Write 2 of the sentences on the board. Underline the new structure and, where relevant, use curved arrows or diagrams to illustrate the relationship of the structure to other words and or parts of the sentence. Point to the underlined structure as you ask questions that will guide students to discover the sounds, the written form, the position in the sentence, and the grammatical function of the new structure. What does it tell us? Help students age 11 or older to verbalize the important features of the structure. use charts and other aids to relate to other familiar structures such as verb tenses. Engage the students in varied guided oral practice. Require students to consciously select the new grammatical item from contrasting one learned in the past. Have the students use the structure with communicative expressions and familiar or new notions where expedient, do a translation exercise. A word or two about nouns. Initially, you may ask students to jot down the names of people they know and places they have visited. Obviously, they will come out with different names of people and places. Here, you can point out that all the names that they spoke of are nouns. The definition can also be quoted. Give some examples. For example, Jawahar, name of a person. Delhi, name of a place. Board is name of a thing. Kindness, name of a feeling or a quality. The kinds of nouns can be discussed now. 1. Proper noun. 2. Common noun. 3. Collective noun. 4. Material noun. And 5. Abstract noun. Take them up one by one by providing examples for each. Gandhi was a great leader. Now ask them whom Gandhi refers to. The students will positively talk of the Mahatma. You can mention here that the particular person, that is Gandhi, is represented by the word. Therefore, it is an example of a proper noun. Now, the students can be asked, what is an apple? They would say it is a fruit. Ask about orange, grapes, etc. and the students will call them all fruits. Here you can mention that though the objects named are different, they are all commonly called as fruits, and therefore the name fruit is an example of common noun. Give examples.